Cool beans, it is 9:03 Central African time. Breakaway Racing League Tier 3 action on the way. My name is Bob O'Connor. I'm here with Crash, who is wiping the sweat off his brow, having had an intense race out in Italy. You're fresh from these conditions. What are your expectations and your thoughts on this track, Crash?
Monza, high-speed track. It's crazy.
Yep.
Had a crazy race. It was good though. Unfortunate for that penalty that cost me a position, but I enjoyed it, man. It was a good race. It was clean. It did not make unnecessary mistakes. Just unfortunate in the first corner, those gents that crashed me off the track that forced me into the early pits. But nonetheless, it was decent enough.
Decent enough indeed. You did mention during yesterday's comms that this is one of those tracks where raw pace makes quite a big difference, and as a result, it's quite a favorite of most racing league drivers. 13 laps, one-shot qualification here, and if you've been watching Tier 3 for quite some time, you know the names to look out for. The likes of Smirch Django, Don, the likes of Nucho and Shaka's Warrior, as well as we see them slowly start to ready up and get set to get going out here in Italy. Who will it be? They only have one shot, remember? And as that begins in a minute or so, we'll get a sense of who exactly has that pole position advantage. Just 13 laps. All these cars have equal performance. We have a fairly healthy grid, about 14 drivers as things stand. Perhaps a couple more will trickle in just before the race start, but time will tell. 14 seconds now before we are underway right here in Monza in Italy. Let's go, says Capoza in the comments. And welcome to all of you who are just joining us out here. We are in Monza. It is Tier 3 of breakaway action. We cannot wait to get underway.
So it's one-shot quali. Let's go.
One shot. Let us go. Let us rock it, indeed. Just putting for the final touches on those car setups in the paddock. As you can see on your right, the Nucho is here. Wedinepe is here. Wenger in. And teammate Sejafeg are also represented here. Just 15 or so seconds before we are underway out here. And, well, as far as the championship is concerned, it is pretty interesting. We've mentioned Don, who's really been steady and consistent on 113 points. He's second in the championship, 5 points behind Sejafeg, who leads the Tier 3 standings as things stand. Well, who will be the front runners as we're about to get this one-shot qualification underway? We will get to see in a second or two. Lusapo, I would have you know, was third in the Drivers' Championship, and well, from time to time we'll be checking in on how that point situation looks. As you can see, we have just about 30 or so seconds before we're underway. Lusapo is third in the championship, and Quali is fourth, 84 points. Smirch Django, one of the newcomers and a scorcher of a racer, is fifth on 76 points, followed by Wanile Shezi, 74 points in sixth place. Equal points with Nucho, another driver who's just come in and set things alight, in seventh place. Shaka's Warrior, Charlie 3 Stacks, and Sema Rules round off the top 10 in the driver's standings in Tier 3 of Breakaway F1. Here we are, underway. It is one-shot quali. One of the leaders, as I can see, Crash, looks like Wenger in is off to a decent start as they head to that braking zone.
It's changing now.
It's changing, yep. Looks like Seaman Rules is having something to say at the front there. Oh man, it keeps on changing. Smirch Django, Don, currently in the 1-2. Shaka's Warrior in third spot as he makes his way through this first sector. Just making sure, Crash, who are we on board with? Are we watching Django?
We are. He's the leader.
He's currently the leader, and of course we're on board with him. He's taken it nice and absolutely steady, hitting that apex, and he absolutely nails it down to this next braking zone. The right-hander, no mistake on the part of Django so far. He
started on the mediums.
Starting on the mediums, absolutely interesting strategy there. He's chased by Charlie Stacks, who's hot in his tails as far as his qualifying time is concerned, and he comes through this sector unscathed of Django, absolutely clean through the apexes he goes, as he absolutely sends it now in this part of the track, of course.
Shaka's Warrior sneaks into P2, with Mex in P3, Don shoots up to P4, Charlie Stacks is dropping.
Yeah, he absolutely is dropping. Mex is now up to P2 in the qualifying standings, and Django crosses the line 122.074 on a
And
pair
I
of medium
said
tires.
mediums.
Mex is second, followed by Shaka's Warrior, Charlie Three Stacks, and Don making up that fifth place. Nucho, Shezzy, Sidgefig, The Sample, and Wenger in round off the top 10. Crash! That was absolutely sensational from Django, medium tires.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. He wants to go long and take the subs to the end.
100%, he really does. That is Django, as well as Charlie Three Stacks and Dosapple, who have opted for the medium tires. And would you look at that? Django, once again, dominant, topping the time sheets here. He will start on that medium tire, and of course, we'll have a longer stint while the rest of the grid, most of the grid, will have to pit later for their medium tires. And they'll have their fingers crossed that there's hopefully not an incident, no carnage. At the start, of course, the Tier 2 drivers had to deal with rain. Thankfully, it looks like conditions were dry in this qualifier, and we'll see exactly if that changes at the start of the race. Just a couple of seconds to go before we're underway out here in Monza, in Italy. It's Tier 3 breakaway racing. If you've just joined us, welcome. Smirch Django will start in pole position out here in Italy. Well, here they are once again, a couple of fans in the Paddock Club clapping them on as the drivers are making the final tweaks and getting set to go racing out here in Italy. We will see exactly how the race goes and, of course, how that affects the championship. Smirch Django joined Tier 3 later than most of the grid, and would you look at that, he's already racked up 76 points to find himself fifth in the driver's standings. And, well, if he can keep up the kind of form that he has had since coming in, well, a promotion place is really not out of the reckoning for him. He's been absolutely sensational. Don is up there, Charlie is up there, Shaka's Warrior, as you can see, is in third place. The lights go out, and we are underway. There's a stationary car, which is absolutely just stuck over there, and now it is a battle between Smirch Django and Mex. As they come into the heavy braking zone, Django is unscathed. The teammates, the McLarens, are also, there's a little bit of contact between Max and Django. Max will help, there's no damage over there, but Django gets away. The gap is about half a second.
Charlie Stacks has been disqualified.
Charlie
what
Stacks
happened
was
there?
He was probably the driver that did not get off the blocks there at the start. He's been disqualified. An absolute tragedy for Charlie Three Stacks. But Mex is the driver fighting to claim the lead from Smirch Django, who's had a fantastic start. The two McLarens of Mex and Donathon Laka make up number 2 and 3 spot, followed closely by Nucho in the Mercedes as things stand. Crash, absolutely dramatic start. Django, unchanged. He's in the lead again.
I'm actually so glad not to see any safety cars out as yet. I don't know if one is going to come now because I see one dealer is dropping, but it's yellow flags through sector 2, so probably took some damage and dropped some position.
Oh,
Don loses the car.
Goes off. Don absolutely loses that McLaren, and he is absolutely tumbling down the grid here. So Mex is the sole McLaren left to fight it out for the lead of this race. As you were seeing over there, he was trying to get a sneak on the inside line, but Smirch Django said, no, you will not. And the gap between them is about 2/10 now. So Mex is absolutely sending it right now. He goes on the inside. They're side by side going into the heavy braking zone. Will Mex get the advantage? Yes is the answer. He does, as he brakes and takes that chicane cleanly. Smirch Django has now to rope him back in, but now as Django does that, he has to contend with Nucho. Don has fallen all the way down to P12, I would tell you. A nightmare first lap for Don, who had an absolutely brilliant qualifying session, but now has to drive one hell of a recovery race. It's Django versus Mex for the lead of this race. Crash, insane start, and Nucho in P3 is chasing these top 2 runners with absolute surgical precision so far, Crash.
Definitely. Exciting to watch. Excellent starts from them. Not necessary expanded mistakes. Nucho with a few position gains, 3 positions up to P3. Notably so, Wadi Nepe has gained 8 positions. He's up to P6 as well. So that's a very, very, very drastic and large gain.
Huge gain once, indeed, actually, for that Mercedes driver, Guadagnete. Absolutely intense, insane, as Lusapo and Wenger In swap places a little bit further down the grid. Wenger In looked to be slipping and sliding a little bit, but Lusapo right now is hunting down Guadagnete, goes to the outside. Lusapo goes into the grass, but he gets that move done. As Nuccio sets the fastest time, Lusapo is inching away at the grid there, finds himself in P6 in that Ferrari. The DRS has been enabled. Let's catch up with the battle for the lead of this race. Smirch Django is right on the tail of Mex. As things stand, he is not struggling with pressure whatsoever. He is absolutely sending it. And we'll take a look at how the telemetry and all these details look. Smirch Django now chasing, currently has about 60% worth of battery power in this battle versus Mex. And of course, he will play the patient game. He's on a set of medium tires, so he knows that comparatively to the rest of the grid, he can go much longer and he need not panic. He will just take his time and take advantage of anything that these drivers can do over here. Behind Nuccio is Shaka's Warrior, who has also been inching a little closer and closer. The gap between 3 and 4 is hovering between a second and about 8/10, depending on the cornering situation that these drivers are taking. Shaka's Warrior, we have seen what he can do, and right now he wants to be right within the DRS train for the battle for the lead of this race. It is Mex leading from Smirch Django and Nuccio with Shaka's Warrior currently in P4 in the Ferrari. Now, from Django's perspective, he was overtaken on this stretch of the track, and now Django looks to take revenge. Django reels him in and goes on the inside in this battle towards his heavy braking zone, and Django is back in the lead. Mex has to contend with second place, and of course, being there, Nuccio keeps on enjoying this battle, hoping that he can inch closer and closer to these top two. What a battle it's been, Crash. It is the battle of the Williams versus the McLaren since the start of this race, and will we be seeing this for pretty much the entire race, Crash?
Pretty much. Let's hope Mex can keep it up with those set of softs, obviously, because he's gonna go into the mediums. And Django's going to have softs for the last stint, so it'll be quite close. Basically, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be going on to the mediums, with 1 and 6 going on to the softs. So it'll be quite interesting. DRS locked in there with Mex. He's fighting back.
He's fighting back, absolutely. Not quite close enough to get the move done as they make their way through the beginning of this third sector. It goes slightly wide, does Mex, but he recovers and gets that car back on track. The gap now is about 9/10, so Django has managed to take advantage of that little slip up from Mex, and the gap is actually a second now. So Mex will have to punch and push and press and absolutely clobber that battery to get back within that DRS zone. Django will not go challenged in this stretch of the track, which is exactly what he wanted, of course, now as they begin the 5th lap of 13. Well, the medium runners will have a longer run, presumably. Of course, we've had a couple of incidents. The likes of Don, Lindo, and Shezzy have already pitted from the soft to their medium lap, so they have one heck of a catch-up on their hands. Now, the gap is starting to steady out between positions 1, 2, and 3. It's about a second and a half between Smirch and Mex, and Nuccio has fallen to about 1.1 seconds behind Mex himself. Shaka's Warrior, of course, is going nice and steady there in P4, hoping to steal a march on Nuccio. Let's get up with Lusapo. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it there in the first sector. Oh, no grip whatsoever. He's spinning around, losing so much time as Lusapo in the Ferrari. And you better be careful, otherwise he could be disqualified.
Disqualified, yeah.
Absolutely over. Lusapo has to get back on track.
On board Nuccio. DRS on next.
Let's go with Nuccio. He has got the DRS on next.
The 10th off.
Oh, man. Absolutely close he is. Mex knows that he is under pressure. He has to keep his second place. But Nuccio has the advantage here. But his battery's only slipping below 10%. He goes on the inside for the heavy braking zone. He is indeed ahead. And Mex will have to react here.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Mex
that
had
was
a...
close.
Oh, he slips and slides, does Nuccio. Mex says, thank you very much. I will take that P2 spot back. He gets that position back, does Max, and Nucho now has to fight back. He used up so much of his battery power trying to get that P2 spot, but now Max has the advantage. His battery power, Max, is about 35% as they make their way through the 6th lap of 13 out here in Italy. Max versus Nucho versus Django, who I would have you know has stretched his lead to about 2.3 seconds in this 6th lap of 13.
Soft runners should be coming in this lap.
Yep, they definitely should be coming in. Well, you had pretty much a wet race in Tier 2, Crash. I would like to know, on a track like this, what kind of a degradation do you expect on the soft tires? When exactly would you have those tires start to scream and complain on you?
Yeah, no. Monza's not the worst. Monza's not the worst. You can really stretch the tires long. It's pretty much in our race. If it wasn't for the rain, it would have been originally a one-stop stretch. It's either you start on the softs and flip onto the mediums. Oh, on board Nucho. Sorry, what's all that?
Nucho, who goes on the outside of Max this time. It's revenge for the Mercedes driver. He gets that P2 spot. Oh, but he goes wide as a result. And will Max capitalize on that mistake from Nucho? Now Max is on his tail. He takes a peek on the outside. Nucho says no as he absolutely punches it, looking to recover from there. A huge mistake from Max, who did so well. Or rather from Nucho, who did so well to get Max hits the curb quite hard over there, and you saw that car bouncing around a little bit, but now it is Nucho who has that 6/10 advantage on Max, who is now chasing in that pie orange McLaren. 46% word of battery as the DRS opens up. Will he use that ERS, Max, attempting to catch up to Nucho? No, not yet. Not yet. But the gap is down to about 0.2 as Lusapo has somehow left the session. Looks like it might be a connection issue for Lusapo, who finds himself at the back of this grid. Lap 7 of 13. It is the battle between Max and Nucho that we've been paying attention to. But the rest of this grid, Sig Fig, the championship leader, is about 10 seconds behind these top three. He is, of course, in that Red Bull. Shaka's Warrior is down to 5th.
Max pits.
Haven't come in. Smirch Django and
5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Nucho. Oh man, that is absolutely tragic. Nucho will have to pay for that.
Let's go on board with Shaka's Warrior coming around. I want to see if he's going to make some positions.
Yep, let's see what Shaka's Warrior can do in the Ferrari, making his way around.
Is it too far back?
And now, he might be too far back there.
Smart Channel's out.
Yep, will the Nucho come out in time?
They are just in time,
Shaka's Warrior was really holding thumbs there. But now he's within touching distance. Yeah, and of course
Mediums
Nucho.
caught fire.
Yeah, they caught fire. They're right within their optimal working window, hopefully, says Shaka's Warrior. And Nucho will rue that 5-second penalty, having sped in the pit lane. So now that gives the likes of Max and Shaka's Warrior a chance at a podium place finish here. Sig Fig, who hasn't pit as yet, is on 7-lap-old soft tires. The gap between him and Smirch Django is about 7 seconds, as you can see at the top of the screen. And, the battle between Max and Nucho has resumed as they've just come out of the pit lane. This McLaren will now be looking to reclaim that 3rd spot from Nucho, who's suffering from a time penalty, as we've
breakaway
just
rules,
mentioned.
Max. Breakaway rules, Max. Pass the man on track.
The man on track. Lap 8 of 13 over here, so not a long way to go before this race is up. The leader, Sig Fig, came into the pits, and of course, he won't have enough time to come out ahead of these race leaders. So Smirch Django has reclaimed the race lead here by a factor of about 4 seconds as these drivers begin lap 9 of 13. And from the vantage point of Max and Nucho, you could just see Smirch Django streaking off into the distance over there. And the rest of the grid, yep, he's pulling away. The gap is about almost 5 seconds, and there we go, 5 seconds and 6 over the gap to the lead there. Sig Fig is now in 5th place, having come out of the pits. Don, the McLaren, who had a fantastic qualifying, but paid the price for some mistakes there, is in 6th place. Wadinepe in the Mercedes is 7th currently, followed by Ngwali in 8th place. Wenger is out on track in 9th place. Wandile Chevy is in 10th, Seymour Rules 11th, Slindo is 12th, and Lisapo, the ghost of Lisapo, is at the back of this grid. Man, there's some pretty healthy gaps, pretty much. Not the drivers aren't running too closely behind each other. What can Shaka's Warrior do here towards the end of this race? Do you foresee a possible podium place here for Shaka?
No, of course. He's still within that 5-second penalty. He needs to manage that. But then just keep putting some pressure on Max. So Max is going to put pressure on neutral.
Yeah.
122.2 by Smart Channel fastest lap. He's on the sub-compounds now. So obviously, he's going to be stretching that gap out in front.
Yep. He really was. Someone else who is bridging the gap or shrinking the gap between themselves and P7 is Wadinepe, but I see he just made a little bit of a mistake and that gap is stretched to about 1.3 seconds. A couple of seconds ago, it was actually less than a second. So Wadinepe in the Mercedes in P8.
Fig has made a mistake. I think he lost the wing. He's in the pits again. He's in the, so that's going to cost him.
Fig.
Is it? I think he's got enough of a cushion.
Yeah.
Oh, it might, yeah.
Yep, that cost him.
It's going to be tight between him and Don. I'm on board with Don. Don is going through.
Don has gone through. Fig, although he's got the soft tires, the gap that Don has already stretched means he has his work cut out for him if it is to be some sort of a recovery to fight back with Don there. The gap is about 7 or so, almost 8 seconds between Don and Fig. Fig, of course, the championship leader out here in Tier 3 of Breakaway. Fig currently on 118 points. And as things stand, even though he slipped down, he's still on point, or he's still on course for a fairly decent points finish here. Sige is 6th and Kwali 7th. Wadinepe is 8th. Wenger is in 9th place. Wandile is in 10th. Seymour Rules currently in 11th, followed by Aslindo 10, and the ghost of Lisapo at the back of his grid. But the story of the day so far, once again, has been the dominance of Smirch Django in the Williams, with just 2 laps to go. Crash?
Yeah, P1, 8-second lead. That's very, very comfortable. So currently it's maximum points for him, for 25 for the victory, and the fastest lap, which is a 122.2. Neutral's been trying to push in P2 as well, trying to open that gap, but Max and Shaka's Warrior are saying no, we're just not in to where we are, and just stay within the 5 seconds. So it's very, very unfortunate on his behalf. Fortunately for Don, it's been a recovery. He's in P5, so that's valuable points for him as well, given the mistake that happened at the beginning because he was rock bottom.
100% that recovery will be music to Don's ears. He finds himself in 5th place. That's a decent points haul for Don. Let's see what's happening in the comments. Tabosa was shouting out the moves made by Max earlier on, and Charlie 3 Stacks had a power issue. That's why we lost him at the beginning of this race, unfortunately for Charlie 3 Stack. And that is absolutely unfortunate. It could have been a fantastic day for Charlie out here. Hopefully we'll see him in the next race. Now,
Shaka's Warriors 8/10.
Yes.
8/10 of Max.
This is the next battle that we will watch as he inches closer and closer through that chicane. Shaka's Warrior is right on Max's tail.
So he's hoping for a P2. Because if he navigates Max, he's within the penalty and he could grab himself a P2.
100%. Crash giving us some context there. Of course, Nucho speeding in the pit lane earned himself a 5-second time penalty. Man, he'll be kicking himself. And Shaka's Warrior is here, of course, to take full advantage. He can smell blood. Those Ferrari engineers will be whispering in his ear, telling him that there's a podium potentially on the line. He opens up that rear wing, and his battery is down all the way to about 9-10%. So Shaka's Warrior has a hell of a battle on his hands to make sure that he can catch up while preserving as much battery life as he can. He goes slightly wide there, chasing Max, who has been absolutely sensational in his battle with Nucho and muscling Shaka's Warrior out of the way. Crash, what have you made of Mex and Shaka's Warrior in particular since they've come into Tier 3?
Nah, they've been stellar. They've been my top drivers. They've been at the helm at all times, barring any mistakes. They've made mistakes, lost positions, but have fought back into very, very comfortable positions. I mean, the points that they've surmounted, given the few races that they've raced, it shows how good of a drivers they are. I really, really see them. Hope also they promoted to Tier 2, just to tighten them up, because I can see that they are at the level, of that stature.
They really are, and they will make their climb further and further up the rungs. And who knows, perhaps in a couple of seasons' time, we'll be seeing them battle it out with our top-tier drivers right here on the Breakaway Racing League. The race leader, someone who is not, of course, he's not unfamiliar with this position. He's quite comfortable with the top step of the podium. He has come in and set this league alight. Smirch Django was now making his way towards the final bend, of course, here in Monza. He is absolutely been pushing it, and he weaves to the left, to the right in celebration. It's another race victory in Italy for Smirch Django, followed by a factor of about 12 seconds by the Mercedes of Nucho. But he has to contend with a penalty, remember. And he's chased very closely by Mex. Nucho crosses the line, but Mex and Shaka's Warrior are your two other podium finishers out here in Italy. What a race it's been from Tier 3. Don Talakala, depending on how you want to pronounce it, will cross the line if he brings it home in 5th place here as we watch the Papaya Orange McLaren make its way through the final part of the track. Crash, look at that gap. Of course, there were mistakes and some lost wings, but my word, between the top 4 and 5th place, it's about, 42 seconds? That is insane, Crash.
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. I mean, if you remember, I told you of record. Those are the Fantastic Five. So if Don wasn't unfortunate to have made that mistake, he surely would have been up there with the front runners. But you can see it's shaped out exactly how we presumed it will be. So these guys are just dominating.
Sige Fig brings it home in 6th place without a wing. And here comes Nkwali now in the Alpine. Will cross the line in P7, followed by Wandanete. Some decent points finishes here for these guys. Crosses the line in 8th place. Wandal Shezi in 9th, and Wenger In will be the last of the points finishers. Seymour Rules, Eslindo, and the Ghost of Lusapo round up this grid here. And Quali is named driver of the day out here. Oh my word. That was an absolutely insane race, dominant once again by this man, Smirch Django, who unchains himself from track limit and unlocks purple sectors everywhere he goes. Crash, another absolutely dominant drive from this man.
Yeah, it's amazing. Can't wait to move to 2022. Safety car went in before we even joined the train. That's I really share what he's talking about. We had just pit, and before we even caught up, the safety car had gone in already. So it was quite insane what happened in our race.
Yeah.
So Boza says Uslindo's getting lapped. I mean, that's what happens if you don't put in the work. So it's quite difficult.
Yep. Kid K says Mkize is Django's handler. He bought us a speedster. They're saying you're terrorizing Breakaway with all these people that you're bringing into the league. Crash. Who's next? Who else are you going to terrorize us with in the coming season?
He's enough. He's doing a stellar job.
Oh man.
Danko Meg says Petolo P. That's amazing. Good to see the guys being backed by their supporters here, and the league is growing. I mean, there's 21 online now, and it's great to see even the tier 1 drivers staying up to watch the tier 3 races. So,
absolutely. Yep. C-Play is hoping for a 119 quali lap tomorrow in Tier 1, and that is something that you can all look forward to. 7:30, it's going to be 3 sessions of qualifying our top tier breakaway racers. Crash, what a race it's been.
Yeah, no, it's been a beautiful race. That 119 is really possible. I mean, we both saw what happened yesterday, the 139 flats, the 139 one by Titus. Melo
Yeah.
with the 139 flats. So that was insane quality times. I mean, in our tier, Shemu did a 120, if you recall, you know. So I mean, yeah, trust our boys to step up tomorrow and give us a 119, you know. Maybe two or
Yeah.
three, who knows? Because it's Monza. Everyone is blitz at Monza, so it's all about, you know, who does not make a mistake. You get it right, you get a perfect lap in, you've got pole. That's how it works nowadays.
Yep. Absolutely no room for error. They're punished absolutely to the limit. Man, Crash, it's been fantastic watching this Tier 3 action. Tomorrow we're back for our top tier drivers right here in Italy. And man, we really hope for a absolutely dramatic, fantastic, intense race as always.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. You haven't spoken to the guys. You want to speak to them?
Yeah, are they in the...
Let's get them in.
As we're about to get our top 3 finishers here. It is Django, Shaka's Warrior, and Mex, I believe. Let's see if we can get them in to the commentary box and to get their sense of how this race went. Of course, we saw the dramatic start. It could have been a double McLaren podium, were it not for the incident with the Don a little bit earlier. But hey, it was an absolutely fantastic race nonetheless. First to join us is the race winner. He is no stranger to dominating and leading from the front. It's Django. Congratulations. Top podium step. How does that feel? How was that race from your perspective?
Thank you, Mr. Tyson, and good evening, everybody. That was a very nice race. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
That was a very great race, and also because I lost out on Monday, I had to come back strong, and you know, I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Man, you opted for that alternate strategy compared to the rest of the grid. How did you find it in the beginning? Were you feeling the pressure or not really? I mean, based on your qualifying time, I would say no, but were you feeling the pressure from those soft runners in the beginning? How was that the first couple of laps for you?
So I was banking on my speed, and for me, I knew the soft runners were going to be fast in the first lap and the second lap, but I knew it was going to, come back to my way in lap 4, lap 5. And I let him go on lap 2, I think, so that I can gauge both our pace. And he was very quick, and I think he made a mistake. I capitalized on used DRS on lap 3, and then I decided to go for it.
Yeah, go for it. You did, and you absolutely laid it down and absolutely built up a heck of a gap towards the end there. Congratulations, Smirch Django. Max is in the house, coming through from McLaren. Congratulations. It was a dramatic race for the team, considering what happened to Don earlier on in the race. But how did you find that, Max? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Now the race, it was a very clean race. Good race. I enjoyed it. In the beginning, I knew Django's pace was just gonna be too much, so I came to terms with if he passes me, he passes me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted the battle with neutral.
Yeah.
That was nice. It was very nice to see. You guys were battling it out all the way. You exchanged positions a couple of times actually. I actually noted that. Quite a number of times. DRS, you're using the DRS quite well, So how was that? How do you find that?
I think ultimately his defense is very good, so he'll make time between us before I even get to the DRS. It's just penalties will kill.
Yeah,
So I saw the penalties, and I just had to make sure I had a clean race.
Yeah. Oh, man. And you managed to absolutely take full advantage there of the race conditions. And you started on the, I think you went from soft to medium, yes?
Yes, I did.
All right. And by the time you were coming out of the pits, was there a sense of like a pressure for some of the drivers that were catching up there?
Not really. I saw Warrior towards the the middle of the race coming towards me, but he just always was out of DRS, and when he was, I just couldn't get into a battle.
Man, you've come into this league and absolutely set it on fire alongside the likes of Django, of course. What are your personal targets? Of course, promotion is always, of course, you know, it's always like a target, but do you have a points target that you're also thinking about, or is it mainly about performance and promotion for you?
As you said, I'm new here, I just got in, so I'm just trying to gauge where I fall. I've had some unlucky races, so I still do not know where I fall really, but yeah, just to perform every race is the goal.
Oh man, absolutely fantastic. Crash?
Yeah, I'm just
Shaka's Warrior hasn't joined us as yet. We're gonna see if it's possible to get a sense.
I'm just trying to get him in.
Yeah, of his race so far. But Max, just before you go, I'd like to get a sense of thinking about the rest of the calendar and the tracks that haven't been done yet. Is there a track or a place that you're particularly looking forward to? A place that you know that, you know what, this is a track that I'm really strong at?
I mean, I think France, maybe. I don't want to speak too soon in Bahrain, obviously. People are quite good at Bahrain, but I will say that I'm not sure if Imola...
Yeah.
Imola's the next... Yeah, no. I'm not looking forward to that one, but I will try my best.
Just tell Shaka's Warrior I've added him into commentary. He just needs to join, so he must go to the commentary chat and join the chat.
Ah, man. Let me see. Also, just trying to add Shaka's Warrior here. Just got a notification from him. Let's do this. Profile. Okay. Come on, Chaka. Let's see if we can get him into this. There he is.
Yes.
Shaka's Warrior, congratulations! A podium place finish. It was a dramatic race. Congratulations. Let us know how that went from your perspective.
Yeah, no, first things first, guys. I just want to say congrats to the gents. I want to say hi to Lucho because he ran a good race as well.
Yeah.
No, it was a good race, man. It was a good race. The lads had a good pace. I struggled with certain corners, you know. So yeah, nah. But all in all, it was a good race.
Yeah, man. Absolutely amazing. Before the start of this race, you were on 73 points already, even though you joined the league a little bit late. So I'd love to know what your personal targets are. Of course, promotion is it's a given. You know, you want to climb up the breakaway ladder. But do you have a points target that you have as well?
I wouldn't say that I necessarily have a points target. I just want to give it a good shot, try and see if I can get into tier 2. Got quality lads that know how to drive as well, so it should be interesting. It really should be interesting. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I necessarily have a points target. Just getting into tier 2 would be an achievement of its own.
Yeah. Oh man, you've been absolutely sensational. Today was another example of that, Crash.
Yeah, no, Stella. Like I told you, these boys are amazing. They're consistent. They, you know, as long as there's no mistakes. And what's important is that they start at the front, because when they start at the front, then they avoid a lot of carnage and they can pace themselves and race their own race. But the issue is, one mistake, you get DSQ'd in quali, then you don't make it to the front, and then you've got to deal with midfield, all the unnecessary mistakes and so forth. So I mean, if they carry on like this, definitely they top 6, all of them. Some automatic quali, the others will be fighting for promotion, and they stand a more than decent chance.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Man, it's been a fantastic race. Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations. Before you go, Shaka, I wanted to ask the same question that I asked Max. Is there a track, kind of, when you think of the rest of the season, and the rest of the calendar to come? Are there? I mean, you've been fantastic since coming in, but are there tracks where you're like, you know what, this is a track where I feel even more comfortable and a track that you're really looking forward to?
The funny thing is that I was asked this question not so long ago, on which like my favorite tracks are.
Yeah.
And with the upcoming ones, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of pace all around with the gens, so it should be interesting. But I'd say Spa should be an interesting one, as well as Bahrain and France. Everyone has pace there, so generally just should be an interesting tracks to follow and stuff.
Yeah. Man, looking forward to
Beautiful choice, man. Beautiful choice.
Yeah.
All the best, gentlemen. Keep it tight, keep it clean. Most importantly, your race today was very clean. I gotta commend you guys with that. You know, you all have pretty much similar pace. So obviously, you're fighting for positions, you're fighting for points and everything. And at the end of the day, you know how Breakaway is. Breakaway is always promotes clean driving, fair, aggressive, but clean driving at all times. So I really appreciate how you guys fed. There were no unnecessary incidents. You know, I don't even see anything being reported from what I was seeing on that race, which is always beautiful to watch. So yeah, you're setting the temperaments as well. So yeah, keep it up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, guys, absolutely fantastic. Thank you for that incredible Tier 3 race out here in Monza. We will see all of you in the comment section tomorrow for top tier, Tier 1 racing right here in Monza. This has been Breakaway Racing League Crash. Thank you very much for a fantastic race.
Shout out. Yeah, it was brilliant. You know, it's amazing. Let's wait and see the top tier tomorrow. It's Monza.
Yep. To Monza we go. Thanks, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.